postmarked today or before, or earlier, sorry, and that arrive in the registrar's office prior to noon on Friday are counted. So we will see additional numbers come in over the next few days. For reference, 10,901 ballots came in between Wednesday and Friday at noon during last year's election. So 10,901 during 2020. So beginning tomorrow, local election officials will begin the canvass process. This is an open and public meeting where electoral boards who represent both parties review precinct results and check, recheck, and then check again the results for accuracy. Virginia law requires that any changes made to unofficial election night results are entered into a change log, and a reason must be provided for why that number changed. So beginning after midnight tonight, any changes to the election night results page will be documented in the change log. Very important to note that this change log is available on our website. The entire process is incredibly transparent. Again, the canvass meeting is done in a public meeting with representatives from both parties. The localities have until Tuesday, November 9th, at the close of business, to certify their results and send them to the Department of Elections. The Department of Elections at that point will check, recheck, and check again to ensure that the results are accurate and require the localities to recertify their results if any discrepancies are discovered. And then on Monday, November 15th, the State Board of Elections will meet to certify the statewide results as well as the House of Delegates results. I know there's a lot of questions about the recount process in Virginia, so I'm going to go over that very quickly in case we are in a position where a recount may be possible. So first of all, in Virginia, there is no such thing as an automatic recount. The process begins once the results are certified. After that, the losing candidate must have been defeated within 1% of the winning candidate. So the margin must be between 0 and 1%. If the margin of victory is between 0.5% and 1%, the losing candidate can request a recount, but the losing candidate would be responsible for paying for the recount. If the margin of victory is between 0 and 0.5%, the losing candidate can request a recount, but then the state pays for the recount. The candidate has 10 days, the losing candidate has 10 days to request a recount from the certification. Has 10 days from the certification to request a recount. It must be done through a petition through the appropriate court. Since the State Board of Elections meeting is on November 15th to certify the election, 10 days falls on Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving, the courts are closed, so the deadline this year to file a petition would be November 29th. We have a very comprehensive step-by-step recount instruction manual on our website. I encourage everybody to take a look at it. It's broken into instructions and information for public, the media, as well as the different participants through the recount, and it gives a very thorough overview of our recount process. Again, in closing, I couldn't be prouder to stand with the election officials of Virginia tonight. We've been working for months to prepare for this election, and we are proud of the work we have done. I want to thank the staff at the Department of Elections. I want to thank the State Board of Elections. Mostly, I would like to thank our registrars who work hard every day to administer our elections at the local level. I want to thank the thousands and thousands of election officers who served in the precincts today and over the last 45 days to assist voters throughout the Commonwealth. And I just want to make sure that I also thank the law enforcement partners, our emergency management partners at the federal, state, and local level who work with us to ensure a safe and secure election every single election, whether 1% of voters turn out or 100% of voters turn out. This is a major operation, and I am proud to stand with them in this process. So with that, I thank you all. I'm happy to take any questions.
So do you have any sense at this point of, a ballpark for turnout, whether you guys think turnout could cross the 3 million mark at this point? And along the same lines, you gave us a number earlier of about 80,000 absentee ballots that were still outstanding. Is there any update on where that is?
Okay, so the question was, what do we think about our prediction about turnout, and then secondly, following up on our statement this morning about 88,000 absentee ballots that have not yet been returned. So I'll take the second part first. As far as the 88,000, we don't have any updates. That'll be updated overnight as they counted and pre-processed those ballots that came in today. Again, ballots that arrive between now and Friday at noon will continue to bite into that number of 88,000. As far as predictions for tonight, I can say that I stopped making predictions. I lost my hair as a result of it. But the fact of the matter is that we've seen heavy turnout as we've seen through several of these localities reporting ballot shortages and having to supplement ballots in certain precincts. So we've seen great interest. As an election official, like I said, we prepare for an election whether there's 1% turnout or 100%. We prefer, closer to that 100%. Makes it all worthwhile, the work that we put in. So I can't put turnout, but we did see heavy interest for sure. Sure. The question is regarding Chesterfield and the ballot situation there. So there were 2 precincts that, as I understand it, did run out of ballots. However, voting went unimpeded. What they did, they instructed the officers to utilize what's called an express vote machine. It's a type of voting machine that we have. It's not just that one, but it's a ballot marking device, essentially. And they use that for disabled voters, and it allows them to create a ballot using a ballot marker. And then it prints the ballot out, and it can be scanned through the machine. So in those 2 precincts, while they ran out of ballots, voting went on uninterrupted. Right. So the question is how these ballots were produced. So in some localities, they have the ability to print a ballot that can be read by the machine in their office. And there's a process that they have to go through to ensure that. They also have the same kind of process, but it's printed on paper that is not able to be read by the machine. So the voter still casts their ballot normally. There's a hand counting process that they go through after the polls close to ensure that that voter's ballot is cast. Okay, well, I'll start with the second pair of questions there at the end. As far as the question was, do we expect delays in these localities or these precincts where there was hand counting? It does take a little bit longer to have the setup for hand counting done, and then counting those and adding those to the records to be sure that everything is properly certified. So I would expect what would be normally a few minutes longer, for sure. That said, I feel confident that the election officers are ready to go and can provide that hand counting fairly quickly and accurately. The question about delays out of Fairfax County, I have not had a chance to speak with Fairfax County. My understanding is that I've heard that they reported that they were going to be a little bit later than they had anticipated, but I don't have any further information on that. As far as my message for voters, I'm I care a lot about election officials. I care a lot about the work that we do. I think it's important. I think everybody would agree. I think that it's been tough on our election administrators throughout the Commonwealth and the country, to be honest with you. And I would just say that today is another day of proof that we can run a very smooth election and that we can have confidence in the outcome of those results. This is a massive undertaking, thousands and thousands of individuals passionately working to ensure that all votes are counted. So my message to voters is that this is once again more proof that you can trust the process. And we're happy to talk about it any old time. And if you have any questions or want to become part of the process, we'd love to have you sign up as an election officer in a future election.
A couple of questions. Along the same line as the Fairfax County query, earlier today you said that pre-processing for early and absentee ballots is expected to conclude by 7 p.m. So statewide, is that still the case, and are any other localities running late on that?
The question was statewide besides Fairfax County or any other localities running late. I haven't had any reports that they are. I anticipate that those numbers will continue to come in pretty robustly over the next couple of hours. I never want to promise like an early end of the night. That's not what I do. I don't make predictions, as I said. However, I think that the localities are set up for a successful night and getting those results in as quickly as possible.
And you also mentioned, sort of how tough things have been on election officials recently, and I know that in Virginia there have been reports of greater interest in poll watching. Have we seen that become a problem in increasing for localities?
The question regarding poll watchers and if there was any additional information on being a problem. We didn't get reports of anything subsequent today. It was a rather smooth day again. I think we did a great job working with our partners and the localities, ensuring that election officers were properly trained to handle any instances that come up. But I think, again, it's more proof. If you witness the process, you see how safe and secure it is. And I think that we were able to prove that here today. The question was about an incident that occurred outside of a polling place in Chesterfield. The only thing I could say to that is if a voter feels intimidated, harassed, or hindered from entering the polling place, even if it's outside of the required 40-foot line, then it's important that they notify election officers, and if they feel that they've been threatened in any way, that they contact law enforcement. And that would be my recommendation on the process and our guidance as well.
Do you have any specific information about what happened outside the Lifelong Learning Center, the polling place in Chesterfield? And when we were there, volunteers said that they ran out of ballots around 2:30, and then two separate wrong ballots were brought forward. They said that people waited in line for a couple of hours, and some people weren't able to vote because it was such a long wait. Do you know anything about that and have any comment?
The question about a polling place in Chesterfield where perhaps there was you had reports of long lines. The report that I have currently is that election officers were instructed to have voters cast ballots on the ballot marking devices in the polling places, that voting went on uninterrupted. But I don't have anything beyond that.
Would you have a message for some of those voters that, we spoke with some who weren't able to vote because they had to go to work or because it was such a long line?
The question is, do I have any recommendations, I guess, for those voters? Our website has a place where they can file a complaint and notify us of those kinds of instances, and then we can work with the locality to determine exactly what happened and work through that process. So the question is what's the department's guidance on as far as ballot ordering and ensuring that localities have enough ballots, I think was the question. So the law does require localities to notify the department of how many ballots they intend to order, and we do have an opportunity to talk to them about their order. But again, it's ultimately a locality decision. And so in this case, we saw pretty high turnout in some of these areas. So the good news is that there are protocols in place, procedures in place to ensure that voters can get ballots and that they can get the ballots to the precincts in a timely manner so that voting can go on unimpeded. Sure. I guess the question, talk about the integrity of the process. I guess the way I would put this is I've worked in elections for a long time. I've seen a lot of people come into the field and their eyes are wide within 2 hours of being a part of it at how much goes into putting on an election. There are so many procedures and policies in place that ensure that the security of the vote is paramount. Chain of custody rules, laws, and procedures, as well as oversight, transparency. We're incredibly transparent administration of elections. Again, I think we do everything we can to ensure that voters have equal access to the ballot and that they can be assured that their vote counts. And if there are ever any issues, we work hard to correct those and to give everybody their opportunity to vote. I think the best thing about being a Virginian right now is you get 45 days of early voting, and then you have Election Day as well. So there's plenty of opportunities to make your voice heard, and we are here to serve you. If there are issues, we want to know about them, and we want to work to ensure that we can correct them in a timely manner. So thank you all very much. We'll go watch the results with you. Have a good night.